in a cowardly attack on innocent people in New York City, Washington, D.C., and Western Pennsylvania, we lost thousands of our fellow countrymen and so much more. Let us pause now to remember all our nation endured and overcame. And let us offer a moment of silence and remembrance for those we lost that day. Thank you. And now, for a performance of our national anthem, presented by AmeriChoice Federal Credit Union. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? For all your financial needs, when saving the guardrail, AmeriChoice is there for you. Visit AmeriChoice.org/Revs for a special membership offer today. The York Revolution asks fans to always
I can't bring it up any higher because I can't reach it.
This half inning is presented by SplashFire, official technology partner for the York Revolution. SplashFire is Central PA's locally owned technology service company with resources across the Mid-Atlantic and global reach, specializing in strategic, security, and hosted services.
Now this isn't
SplashFire is
like
built to
level.
simplify how
So what,
technologies
like even though this isn't level but the camera's level, it's fine. Like this.
SplashFire, a better way to consume technology. Learn more at splashwire.com.
Okay, but it's level. Holding it. There's like a left. As long as this is like the circle is in the circle. There's two. Okay, this one has the bubble in. This bubble is not in.
And it's Revs time and time to play ball. Leading off for the Blue Crabs, left fielder number 9, Jack Sundberg.
Oh, we welcome you to PeoplesBanks Park, just moments away from the first pitch in York, Pennsylvania, as Eduardo Rivera takes the mound for the Revs. And it's Jack Sundberg who will lead things off for Southern Maryland. We'll bring you through the starting lineup momentarily, as the first pitch from Eduardo Rivera is in there for a called strike, and the count 0-1. Rivera enters with an 8-4 record, a 4.65 earned run average. Last pitched on Friday as he went an inning for the Revs. Pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-2 on Sundberg. Now to take you around the Blue Crabs starting lineup, it's Jack Sundberg who leads things off. Michael Wolanski bats second. He's at third base. Braxton Lee in the 3 spot. He's in right field as the 0-2 pitches upstairs. and the count is 1-2 strikes. David Harris is the cleanup hitter, while Joe DeLuca bats fifth. He's doing the catching tonight. 1-2. Line drive, well struck down the right field line. This ball falling, and it falls for a fair ball. It goes all the way into the corner. It's awfully muddy down there, and Jack Sundberg has himself a leadoff double. Well, the left fielder gets things started on the right note. Sundberg had a home run yesterday, 2 home runs in his last 3 games coming in, and he gets a double to get things going here in the top of the first inning. Only got halfway through that lineup. Let's get through the rest of it. Joe DeLuca, the catcher. Zach Collier bats 6th. He's in center field. Jared Walker bats 7th. He's at first base. Ian Yetzko back in the lineup tonight. He's at second base. And Michael Baca is at shortstop. He bats 9th. Adrian Cook gets the start for the Blue Crabs as the home plate umpire Ian Pittenger, who was not the umpire in either Game 1 or Game 2 of this series. But he fills in on short notice tonight for Ian Heim. And the first pitch, swing and a miss to Michael Wolanski, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. Let's bring you around the defensive alignment for the Revs following the first pitch, or following the 0-1 pitch, I should say, from Rivera. It's a called strike on the outer half, and the count 0-2. Out in left field, it's Troy Stokes Jr. The center fielder is Connor Lean, while out in right field, it's J.C. Encarnacion. The third baseman is Josue Herrera, while Elmer Reyes is at shortstop, Jeffrey Perez at second base, and the first baseman is Nelly Rodriguez. The catcher is Lenine Rodriguez. The 0-2 pitch is called strike 3. Michael Wolanski, not a big fan of it. He thought it was a little low, but Ian Pittenger calls him out, and there's 1 away. And here comes Braxton Lee to the plate. Lee had 2 hits in last night's ball game. Of course, played most of the year last season in AAA. The AAA level, he hit .237, and an on-base percentage a little over 300. This year the numbers are up for sure. .303 batting average, a .362 on base, and the pitch is low and in. It's nicely blocked by Lenine Rodriguez, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Last night, the Blue Crabs suffered a 5-4 loss. We'll get there in 1 moment. Rivera set. Runner on second base, 1 out, no score. Pitch on the ground. This one through the hole on the right side for a base hit. Sundberg waved around. The throw to the plate's not even going to come. They're going to cut it off at first base, as an RBI single from Braxton Lee has given the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Southern Maryland. And honestly, it was the same exact scene last night. The only difference is Baca scored on a ground ball. It was in the 4th inning as opposed to an RBI single in the 1st inning. But nearly the exact same play as Braxton Lee bounced a single through the right side and has given the Blue Crabs a 1-0 lead in the top of the 1st inning. So Sundberg scores. Lead to first in the RBI single. And Harris at the plate. He takes a called strike on the outside corner. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Braxton Lee, a short lead off of first base. Pitch to Harris, swinging a drive. This one deep left center. Back to the warning track at the wall. Forget about it. David Harris smashes that ball over the community progress side in left center and gives the Blue Crabs a 3-0 lead. Out toward the playground with the slide and the carousel, Lee scores, and Harris belts his 16th home run of the year and gives the Blue Crabs a 3-0 lead in the 1st inning. Well, Eduardo Rivera, who for most of the season has been the most consistent Revs pitcher, has found himself in a lot of trouble here in the top of the first inning against this Blue Crabs lineup. And funny enough, his Game 1 and Game 2 starters didn't have quite as much trouble with. Back in Game 1, it was Davis Julian, who hadn't thrown in 3 years, who came out and pitched 5 scoreless innings. And the pitch, that's low and in to Joe DeLuca. Sam Burton didn't do great yesterday, but he gave his team a chance to win. But here in the top of the first inning, Eduardo Rivera has struggled mightily. Allowed 3 runs to the first 4 batters. And the pitch to DeLuca. Fouled off, first base side, and the count 1-1 strike. Well, we're glad you can join us. If you're tuning in just a couple minutes late, you missed 3 early runs as Sundberg doubled to get things going. An RBI single from Braxton Lee and a 2-run shot from David Harris. Pitch, called strike, and the count 1-2 now on Joe DeLuca. DeLuca, the 5-hitter. He's doing the catching for Adrian Cook today. And the 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball. And DeLuca swings over it. And there are 2 away in the top of the first inning. And here comes Zach Collier. Collier kicks around some dirt with that back left leg. Rivera, the offering. Big wave and a miss on a breaking ball. And the count 0-1. So, funny enough, Rivera might end up striking out the side. He has 2 Ks already, ahead of the count on Collier. But in the midst of all that, he's allowed 3 runs. 0-1, that's low. Count 1-1 strike. There's also the question of what is the definition of striking out the side. Does it just mean that your 3 outs were strikeouts, or do you have to get, or do you have to strike out the side, meaning a 1-2-3 inning with 3 strikeouts? Pitch has popped up over toward the Blue Crabs dugout. This ball falls about 4 or 5 rows deep in the seats on the third base side, and the count 1-2. I've always thought for it to mean anything, it does have to be 3 up and 3 down with 3 strikeouts. But I've heard it used both ways. Rivera. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So depending on what definition you use, Rivera does strike out the side, but he also allows 3 runs. A leadoff double from Sundberg, an RBI single from Lee, and David Harris goes deep to left center to give the Blue Crabs a 3-0 lead. When we come back, it's the Revs coming to bat against Adrian Cook. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Broadcast Network.
Well, JC Encarnacion digs in from the right side as Adrian Cook is ready to go. Here's the first pitch from the righty. It's a called strike in the count 0-1. Blue Crabs have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. We'll bring you through the Revolution batting order in just one moment. 0-1 pitch popped up, third base side. It's Michael Wolanski who's over at third base tonight, who drifts into foul territory and makes the catch. And there is one away. Well, let's bring you through the Revolution order, and we'll bring you around the diamond defensively for the Blue Crabs. As JC Encarnacion just led things off by popping out to third base. Jeffrey Perez bats second. He's at second base. Melky Mesa, he's the DH tonight. He bats third. Nelly Rodriguez is the cleanup hitter. He's at first base. Troy Stokes Jr. is in left field. He bats fifth. Elmer Reyes bats sixth. He is the shortstop. Josue Herrera bats seventh. He's at third base. Lenin Rodriguez is doing the catching. He bats eighth. And Connor Lean bats ninth. He's in center field. Pitch. That's low in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on Jeffrey Perez. Now to bring you around the defense for the Blue Crabs. Jack Sundberg in left, Zach Collier in center, and Braxton Lee is in right as that pitch is lined foul, third base side in the count. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jeffrey Perez. In the infield, over at third base, Michael Wolanski, who's making his first start at third base this year for the Blue Crabs. Typically at shortstop and second base, but he's versatile enough so he can play third as well. As the 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 1-2. The shortstop today is Michael Baca. Ian Yetzko is at second base, and over at first base, it's Jared Walker. Joe DeLuca is doing the catching for Adrian Cook. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And there are 2 away. A pop out and a strikeout for Cook, who's gotten things going in the right direction here in the bottom of the first inning. Last time out wasn't pretty for Cook. 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks. He also hit a batter and allowed a home run. The time prior also wasn't great. 4 2/3 innings, 10 runs, 9 earned, 8 hits, and 7 walks. And a loss to the Honey Hunters. And the first pitch is a little bit away for ball 1 on Melky Mesa. 1-0 pitch. That's a little inside, but DeLuca couldn't glove it anyway. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. Well, we appreciate everybody joining us. Now there's a lot to compete with on Sundays. Pitch, ground ball, foul, third base side. Some people watching the NFL, some people watching MLB ball today. Spending time with the family. Hopefully everybody's spending time with the family and watching the Blue Crabs. Could have some other games on as well maybe, but the Blue Crabs game, that's the one we should all be focusing on. Pitch, line drive into center field, a base hit for Melky Mesa. So after the pop out and the strikeout, Melky Mesa is aboard with a single. And Nelly Rodriguez will come to the plate. Nelly Rodriguez, the cleanup hitter, will dig in. Telvin Nash not in the lineup today. We saw him in the lineup yesterday as the designated hitter, but came out of the game early because the starting pitcher, Sam Burton, did not make it through 5 innings. Would not be surprised if Eduardo Rivera didn't make it through 5 either. The bullpen for York so far has been very, very good, though. Has not surrendered a run to the Blue Crabs. And the pitch, that's away. Count 1 ball and no strikes. With 2 away and a runner on first base. 3-0 Blue Crabs. An RBI single from Braxton Lee and a 2-run home run from David Harris. That's the difference right now. Here's the pitch. A little low, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on a breaking ball. Looked pretty close, though.
Black means they're all dead, right? Black means all the skin and stuff is dead.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Here is the 2-0 pitch. Called strike. Count 2 balls and 1 strike. I will tell you, here in Pennsylvania, there is this spotted lanternfly. I'm not sure if you've heard about these. They're a sort of an epidemic across the country. They're a invasive species of fly. Not even sure they're technically a fly, but they're called flies. And the 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, count 2-2 on Nelly Rodriguez. And they're everywhere. And people are told they're supposed to step on them if you see them. And as a result, there are a lot that are flying around, but there are also a lot that are on the ground that have been smushed. I don't think I've ever seen so many smushed bugs in my life. I mean, they're everywhere. Here at PeoplesBanks Park, outside the ballpark, at the hotel, no matter where you go, they're everywhere. They're also in Lancaster. They're all across the state of Pennsylvania, into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois a little bit, in New Jersey and New York as well, as the 2-2 pitch is fouled off. Third base side, we saw them on Staten Island when the Blue Crabs played the Ferry Hawks. They're everywhere over there as well. These bugs have traveled far and wide. And they're apparently a big problem for a lot of crops, especially grapes, is what I've heard. But they're also a problem in these ballparks. 2-2 pitch, line drive, well struck. Rather deep to right center, but Collier drifts over in front of the checkers RBI sign and makes the catch for the final out. Well, the Revs added 1 hit. They strand 1 at the end of the bottom of the first inning. It's the Blue Crabs who have a 3-0 lead over York. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, Jared Walker gets us started in the top of the second inning. And the first pitch a little bit up and in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on the lefty. 3-0 Blue Crabs over York. We're glad you've joined us as the 1-0 pitch is fouled back. Count 1-1 now on Walker. Walker had an RBI double in yesterday's ball game. And he no longer has the sole lead for home runs on this team with 16 as David Harris matched him earlier today. Pitch upstairs, and the count 2-1. Well, if the Blue Crabs can get a solid start out of Adrian Cook tonight and get some offense to support him, would go a long ways for Southern Maryland tonight. As a 2-1, that's outside, count 3-1. We talked about some of Cook's recent struggles. He has had a good start this season against Long Island back on August 6th. He went 6 innings, 5 hits. He allowed just 2 runs and 1 earned. As the 3-1 pitch, that's outside. It's ball 4, and Jared Walker earns a walk. And there's a runner on first base with nobody out in the top of the second inning. it was actually rather funny coming into this series. I mean, here we are with the Blue Crabs leading 3-0 in the top of the second inning. And people were saying, okay, games 1 and games 2, you've got the Blue Crabs ace, who's the favorite to win the Pitcher of the Year in the Atlantic League. And he's going against a guy who hasn't pitched in 3 years. I mean, this is a game that heavily favors the Blue Crabs. As the first pitch is upstairs to Ian Yetzko. Game 2, you've got Eddie Butler, a former big leaguer, who's facing off against a guy whose ERA is above 7, has only pitched twice this year, and he struggles anyway. Burton does. And the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss, count 1-1. Yet the Blue Crabs lose that game as well. And then here you go against York's ace. And Adrian Cook has had his fair share of struggles this year, but it's the Blue Crabs who have the early lead. So the opposite of what one might have expected to happen. It's still very early in this one, but the Blue Crabs with the early lead. Pitch, swing and a miss. Count 1-2 now on Ian Yetzko. High fastball that time from Eduardo Rivera. And Yetzko swings through it. Walker on first, nobody out, 3-0 Blue Crabs. RBI single from Lee, a 2-run shot from Harris. That's the difference right now. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball fades low and away from Ian Yetzko, and there is one away on the strikeout from Eduardo Rivera. That is the 4th strikeout today from Eduardo Rivera. Wolanski went down looking, DeLuca swinging, Collier swinging, and now Yetzko swinging. And here comes Michael Baca. Pitch upstairs, count 1-0. It just so happens that the three that got on base in the first inning all scored. The RBI single after the double from Sundberg, and the home run brought everybody else home. A 3-0 lead for Southern Maryland as Jared Walker stands on first base following the walk. 1-0 pitch on the ground towards short. Could be 2. On to second for 1. Back on to first. 6, 4, 3. Double play to end the inning. Elmer Reyes to Jeffrey Perez. Back on to Nelly Rodriguez. A 6-4-3 double play to end the top of the second inning. The Blue Crabs had one base runner. They strand none following the double play. At the end of an inning and a half, it's the Blue Crabs 3 and the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf. Well, we are underway in the bottom of the second inning. The first pitch to Troy Stokes Jr. is fouled back. And the count, no balls and 1 strike on the righty. Here is the 0-1. That's inside. The count, 1 ball and 1 strike now. Stokes taps home plate once. Here's the pitch. That's a little up and in. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Troy Stokes, one of those players that does not use batting gloves. It's rare to see at this point. Almost everybody does. Connor Lean does not. Another one of the guys who does not wear the batting gloves. 2-1 pitch. Little away, and the count 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, nobody out.
We didn't hang out last night. It was my fault. We didn't hang out last night, okay?
Stokes digs in.
Thank you. Also bye.
And the pitch. That one, line drive through the left side for a base hit. Stokes rips one into left field. There's a runner on first base with nobody out. So a leadoff single. And here comes Elmer Reyes. Well, so far this year across 25 2/3 innings, 30 hits, so more than a hit an inning. But the bigger factor has been the walks and hit batsmen. He has walked or hit 31 batters across 25 2/3. And the pitch on the ground to second. Should be 2 on a second for 1. Back on to first. 4, 6, 3, double play. Yetzko to Baca to Walker. And it turns 2, and there are 2 away in the bottom of the second. And Josue Herrera will dig in. So Adrian Cook getting a little bit of help from a double play ball here in the bottom of the second. 3-0 Southern Maryland. They got the help they needed back in the top of the first. And Cook's gotten some help from his infielders on a ground ball. And the first pitch to Herrera, who shows bunt, pulls back, and the count 1 ball and no strike. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ground ball through the right side. It's a base hit. Herrera dribbles one between Yetzko and Walker, and there's a runner on first base with 2 outs.
Your catcher, number 1, Lenine Rodriguez.
Get to second base. Yeah, so that's Sarah.
So a runner on first base with 2 outs. In a 3-3 ball game. Here's Lenine Rodriguez, who bats 8th in the order as the first pitch is a little bit low. I sort of like what we've seen here from what the Revs are doing at the bottom of their lineup, putting a guy like Connor Lean, who's got a lot of speed. And the pitch, ground ball over to the third base side. Going to be a tough play to get Rodriguez. Throw to first in time. Really nicely fielded by the Blue Crabs' third baseman, Michael Wolanski, who's exclusively played at second and short so far this season, but he makes the trip across to third and throws out Lenine Rodriguez for the final out in the bottom of the second inning. Well, at the end of 2, it's Southern Maryland 3. It's York 0 on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network. We go to the top of the third inning. It's back to the top of the Blue Crabs lineup as Jack Sundberg digs in. And the first pitch. That's low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Blue Crabs 3, York nothing on a leadoff double from Sundberg to get the game going. An RBI single from Braxton Lee and a 2-run shot from David Harris. 1-0, called strike, count 1-1. And the pitch that's fouled off, third base side.
Sarah asked for extra pickles so they can steal one.
Count 1-2 now on the lefty. As Eduardo Rivera steps off the mound,
I've already eaten 4. My
grabs the rosin bag.
If Brandon
Now
would've-
back to the rubber.
I would have taken the whole jar and just eaten them out, like at my desk. But Brandon would've-
And the 1-2 pitch is low and in. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jack Sundberg. In the top of the third inning, we're glad you could join us for some Sunday afternoon baseball.
those are the games we have.
And the 2-2 pitch, low and in. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now Jack Sundberg had that 34-game on-base streak going earlier this season. Just snapped over the weekend last weekend. 3-2 pitch, ground ball that deflects off of Rivera's shoe. It's going to be a tough play for him to get it. He goes, gathers, and fires the first in time. Oh, terrific play by Eduardo Rivera as the ground ball that was destined for center field was deflected off of Eduardo Rivera's shoe, but not only just to go and look at it and see if anyone else is going to grab it, Rivera went after it himself, got there very quickly. He ran well to it, and Sundberg was tossed out at first base. We got one of those spotted lantern flies I mentioned earlier just outside the broadcast booth right now. It's actually between the booth and the window. The windows are open, though, so it's made its way inside for the most part. Pitch, it's called strike on Michael Wolanski. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on the righty. I mean, they're rather large bugs, and they are everywhere. Pitch is a little bit outside. Count 2-1. If your state has not been hit by them, be thankful. You don't want them. 2-1 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball, left field. It's not going to be deep enough as the left fielder today, that's Troy Stokes Jr., gets under it, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. Well, 2 up and 2 down as Braxton Lee will come to the plate. Braxton Lee is 1 for 1 today with an RBI single to right field. And the pitch, breaking ball up and in, count 1 ball and no strikes. One-0 delivery. Line drive foul, third base side. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Braxton Lee in the top of the third inning. Well, Southern Maryland comes into this ball game with an 80-44 record. Pitch low and into Lee. 32-26 overall. While York is 53-72, 22-37 in the second half. Now the Blue Crabs can't set an Atlantic League record for the best winning percentage in Atlantic League history, but if this team, as the pitch is low and in, plays all right just the rest of the way, they will certainly set the Blue Crabs franchise record. They only need 3 wins. They need to go 3-5, although there might only be 7 other games. We'll get there in a moment. 3-1 pitch is low. It's ball 4 on Braxton Lee, and there's a runner on first base now with 2 outs. So back to that last point. The Blue Crabs likely have 8 games remaining, including today. But there's a chance they only have 7 games, including today's ball game. They'll play 3 certainly on Long Island. They'll definitely play 3 in Lancaster. The question is, will they play a 4th as well? There are technically 4 games scheduled, but if those 4 games don't mean anything because Lancaster's already clinched, then there's a chance we don't play that last game of the season. The pitch, called strike to David Harris, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike on the righty who went deep to left center his first time up. Pitch, big wave and a miss. You wanted a second home run there, and that ball finds its way into the mid of Lenin Rodriguez. So count no balls and 2 strikes on David Harris with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Blue Crabs, 3 runs on 3 hits. For York, no runs on 3 hits. Pitch, swing and a miss. No, swing and a foul tip, I beg your pardon. As a breaking ball went diving away from David Harris. He got just a piece of it as Lenin Rodriguez could not close the glove. Count no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Low in the dirt, gets away from Rodriguez. And Braxton Lee took a large secondary lead, had to get back to the bag rather quickly, though did not appear like Lenin Rodriguez was interested in throwing. So either way, the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Count 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch, swinging a ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Harris to first, Lee from first to second. And there are runners on first and second with 2 outs. And here comes Joe DeLuca. Joe DeLuca comes to the plate with Braxton Lee on second and David Harris on first. Well, fans, if you'd like a shout-out today, please let us know where you're watching from. We'll definitely give you a shout-out. We have a slightly different question for you all today. It was a question that was asked yesterday in the interview. We didn't actually post it in the YouTube chat, though. We'd love to get your take on it. Pitch, big wave and a miss, count 0-1 on Joe DeLuca with 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the 3rd. Blue Crabs got a hit with the runner in scoring position in the first inning. At the time, Sundberg was on second with 1 out when it was Braxton Lee who grounded one through the right side for a base hit. 0-1 pitches, dribbled foul toward the York bullpen. And the count 0-2. Down the first base line, Blue Crabs in the third base dugout. York in the first base dugout. That is typical, though at the Reg in Waldorf it is the opposite. Blue Crabs in the third base is the home team, and the opposing team on the first base side. 0-2 pitch. Popped him up into left center field. It is the center fielder Connor Lean who gets under it and makes the catch overhead for the final out. Well, the Blue Crabs score none. They strand 2 at the end of 2.5. It's the Blue Crabs who have a 3-0 lead over the York Revolution. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
go.
Now we go to the bottom of the third inning. Connor Lean will get things going for the Revs. 9, 1, and 2 come to the plate. Will be Connor Lean, followed by J.C. Encarnacion and Jeffrey Perez. And the first pitch, up and in, count 1 ball and no strikes. Nearly hit Lean there. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. It's 3-0 Southern Maryland. And the 1-0 pitch. That's low. Count 2 balls and no strikes. On the year, Blue Crab starter Adrian Cook has thrown just more balls than he's thrown, just more strikes than balls. 265 strikes, 235 balls. As the 2-0 pitch is low, count 3-0. Now, if you take that as a percentage, that would be 53% strikes, 47% balls. You want to be closer to 65% strikes, 35% balls. As a 3-0 pitch is a called strike. Count 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1, that's low and away. It's ball 4. And there's a runner on first base now with nobody out after the leadoff walk. Well, J.C. Encarnacion digs in. Runner on first base. And the pitch, that's low. One ball, no strikes, and nobody out. And Connor Lean leads off at first, and Cook tosses over. Adrian Cook gets the sign from his catcher, Joe DeLuca, and the pitch. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike now on Encarnacion. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Runner on first base for the York Revolution, who trail 3-0 to Southern Maryland. Those 3 runs coming in the top of the first. No action since then from either side. Across 2+ innings of work now, Adrian Cook has allowed 4 hits. Hasn't walked a batter yet, but 4 hits in 2 innings. He is really lucky he hasn't allowed a run at this point. And the pitch is foul back. Well, just to give you an idea of pitcher velocity, Adrian Cook has topped out today at 91.9. So right around 92. And Eduardo Rivera at 95.2. As the 0-2 pitch, or the 1-2 pitch is dribbled foul to the first base side. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Yesterday it was Eddie Butler who topped out near 97. But Butler allowed 5 runs across 6 innings in the 5-4 loss. Pitch low in the dirt. Nicely smothered by Joe DeLuca. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on the batter. JC Encarnacion will step back in. Meanwhile, Connor Lean from first base.
No, it's not you. You didn't make them.
The flag flying at half-mast today in remembrance of 9/11, 21 years ago, the terrible tragedy on those tragic terror attacks on the United States. And the pitch was a swing and a miss on JC Encarnacion, who goes down swinging, and there is one away.
Number 2, Jeffrey Perez.
Remember all of those lost today, and our thoughts and our prayers 21 years ago, and all those who have suffered since. As Perez digs in from the left side. Runner on first base and 1 out. And the pitch, line drive through the right side, a base hit. Lean jumps on his horse. He thinks about going to third, but applies the brakes as he gets the stop sign from his coach over at third base, Alvarez. A runner on first and second now for the Revs as Melky Mesa, the designated hitter, digs in from the right side. And Cook has found himself in trouble. That's the 5th hit he's allowed across 2 1/3 innings. I mean, you can allow base runners if you can work yourself out of the jams. You just have to prove you can do it time and time and time again, which is a very difficult thing to do. And the pitch, swing and a miss, count 0-1. Now, I'm willing to believe there are pitchers who feel more comfortable working out of the stretch and checking on runners, etc. But I think there's a difference between that, checking on runners and working out of the stretch, and getting lucky as well. I mean, you can only feel so comfortable with the bases loaded and nobody out before you're going to allow some runs. Cooks has allowed runners on first and second with 1 out here in the 3rd. And the pitch on the ground, third base side, foul. Count 0-2 now on Melky Mesa. Now, next year, of course, the Major League Baseball, there are changes to the rules coming. I think most everybody agrees that there are some changes that are needed at some point. Now, what those rules are, though, that's the question. Well, the MLB has solved that, and they made their decisions. 0-2 pitch is away, count 1-2. There have been some changes in recent years, minimal changes for the most part, some of which started here in the Atlantic League, 3-batter minimum for relief pitchers. A rule that's been established now for a few years. Count 1-2. Here's the pitch to Melky Mesa. Line drive foul, and the count remains 1-2. Now back to that last point, though. Major League Baseball, as part of their rule changes, will allow pitchers to step off the rubber only twice during the course of an at-bat. Now that can be for pickoff moves as well. So if you pick off to first base twice to check on a runner, you can't pick him off a 3rd time unless you get him out. Otherwise, he's given the next base automatically. And the pitch, swing and a miss, breaking ball, gets Melky Mesa swinging, and there are 2 away. Really good pitch from Adrian Cook as he buries the breaking ball and gets Mesa to swing through it. So 2 away in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Adrian Cook has worked around 2 more hits in the inning. Wow, no runs on 4 hits so far. So Cook has allowed 4 hits and 1 walk through 2 2/3. No runs and 3 strikeouts.
Depending on where we are.
Runner on second base. That's Connor Lean, who started the inning with the walk. Pitch called strike. Count 0-1 on Nelly Rodriguez. Rodriguez digs back in. Lean off of second. Over on first base, it's Jeffrey Perez. Here's the pitch from Cook. Low and away. Now it skips away from the catcher, DeLuca. He's got to jog over to the ball to make sure Lean isn't coming to the plate as he does advance to third as the ball got away from him. Cook was covering the plate. Would not have been a good move from Lean to try to go all the way home. Well, either way, runners on second and third now. With 2 outs, they advance on the wild pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. As Nelly Rodriguez digs back in. So it was Lean who started the inning with the walk. 2 batters later, a single from Jeffrey Perez. They now stand on second and third following a wild pitch. 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball called strike. Count 1-2 on Nelly Rodriguez with 2 outs. One of the hardest hit balls today. The home run from David Harris at 103 miles an hour. Melky Mesa and Troy Stokes hit base hits at 104 and 105. So Adrian Cook's allowed some hard hit balls, and the 1-2 pitch is fouled off third base side. Yeah, 4 of the 5 hardest hit balls have come off of Adrian Cook today, but again, he's been able to limit the damage. 3 of those hard hit balls have been singles, the other a fly out. So if you can limit how many hard hit balls you've allowed, or if you can at least get outs on them or only allow them to be singles, it goes a long way. Makes a big difference. One-two pitch. Line drive foul, right field side. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Well, Southern Maryland has a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Count 1-2 after Nelly Rodriguez fouled another pitch off.
I have my rain jacket on.
This will be the 6th pitch from Adrian Cook. He's been throwing 91, 92 throughout the course of this start. And now here is the 1-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Fastball, belt high, and Nelly Rodriguez doesn't like it. He thought it might have been a little bit in. But a backwards K from Adrian Cook on Nelly Rodriguez to end the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's 3-0 Southern Maryland on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud Corporation. Mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
And the first pitch to Zach Collier. Just one drilled to right. This one back. It's off the wall. Collier trying to go to second base. It's going to be tough with the throw slightly offline. And so Collier does have a double as JC Encarnacion fielded that ball very quickly and fired into second. But a first pitch double from Zach Collier to get things started in the top of the fourth inning. Well, Zach Collier has been on a tear recently. The Blue Crabs already have a 3-0 lead and an opportunity to extend it. Either way, that extends Collier's hit streak to 4 consecutive. He's 3 for 8 in this series. Already has a couple of doubles. On the road trip, Zach Collier hitting .333 thus far. A 13-game home road trip is what this will ultimately be. It might be 12, but I think we'll play 13. Pitch called strike. And the count 0-1. Still trying to figure out the specifics on that doubleheader in Lancaster that the Blue Crabs still plan on playing. And the pitch, swinging a high fly ball, drilled to right, but it's a foul ball. Well, if it was fair, it certainly would have gotten out of here, but Walker ahead of it, and he destroyed that ball foul to the right field side. Count 0-2 now on the big lefty. Walker hitting .231 and an OPS just shy of 800 with 16 homers. Walker walked his first time up today. 0-2. It's low and in. Count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Talked with Jared Walker, who talked about his time playing in the Australian Baseball League. That's going to lead us into our next question after I tell you all the story there. It's the 1-2 pitch upcoming from Eduardo Rivera. Called strike 3. Well, Walker goes down looking, but Jared Walker was telling me the other day that he has the record for the longest on-base streak in the Australian Baseball League's history at north of 50 games. Now, think about the Australian Baseball League. It's got about 8 teams now, but they're moving back to 10 this year. They were at 8 last year, but there's a new New Zealand team that's coming in. There's also a team from Korea that's playing, and they're hoping to expand it with another team from Japan. First pitch on the ground, foul, third base side. So the Australian Baseball League is going international. Now our question to you is, the MLB, if the MLB adds a team outside of Canada and the U.S., where is that team going? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Post it in the YouTube chat. Where do you think a team outside Canada and the U.S. might be going? Do they go to Mexico? If so, what city? Do they go to the islands? Dominican Republic? Do they go to Puerto Rico? Though that is the U.S. The 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed from Ian Yetzko. They find another island there in the Caribbean. Do they go to Venezuela? Do they go across the pond to England? Where are they headed? Let us know. It's a long flight, maybe Japan? Where is that team outside the U.S. going? So let us know in the YouTube chat. We'd love to hear from you all. 0-2 pitch is low. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Or do we go crazy here and go down to Australia? Count 1-2 on Yetzko, the righty, with a runner on second base and 1 out. Eduardo Rivera is set. Here is the 1-2. That's away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the 4th inning. Blue Crabs 3 runs on 5 hits. For York, no runs on 4 hits. And the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Yetzko down on strikes for the 2nd time today. And another strikeout for Eduardo Rivera. That's number 6 for the righty. He's allowed 3 runs across 3 2/3, but he struck out 6 across just 63 pitches, which is really quite impressive. So Rivera, to some extent, has rebounded here. And meanwhile, Adrian Cook has worked around trouble in each of the first 3 innings. And the first pitch to Michael Baca, that's low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Playoffs will begin next week for the Blue Crabs. Or I guess a week from Tuesday. A week from today will be the final games of the regular season. And then a week from Tuesday, the Blue Crabs will start the playoffs. In all likelihood, will be in Lancaster. And the pitch, line drive, right center field. This one falls for a base hit. Baca with a single. Collier comes around to score from second. It's an RBI single from Michael Baca, and the Blue Crabs take a 4-0 lead here in the 4th. As the leadoff double from Collier costs Eduardo Rivera. And Jack Sundberg comes to the plate. And the first pitch to the lefty is a little bit inside. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Well, 4 runs on 6 hits. A double from Sundberg. RBI single from Lee. A home run and a single from Harris. Pitch. This one swinging a high fly ball foul. Right field side. This one chases toward the seats, but it's going to get out of play. Count 1-1 on Sundberg. Back to who has the hits today. A double from Collier, who came in to score. And a single from Jared Walker. Well, with the RBI from Michael Baca. Pitch is a called strike. Runner goes. Throw to second is in time. Baca thrown out trying to extend a single into a double here on a stolen base. But he's thrown out. It's just the 3rd time all year Michael Baca's been caught, as he's now 20 out of 23 on the season. Well, that ends the top of the 4th inning. The Blue Crabs score 1. They strand none. At the end of 3.5, it's the Blue Crabs 4. It's the Revs nothing on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Sheets is perfect for busy lifestyles, and they're open 24/7. So grab breakfast, dinner on the go, or a late-night snack. With more than 500 stores in 6 states, there's always a Sheets for you.
I was doing some shopping, had a pop-up on my laptop. Computer had a virus. So I called the number on the page, and the guy on the phone wants to take control of my screen to sort it out. Then I remember a tip I got from the ADR before I watched it. Control my screen.
I dropped a french fry, and now they're on me.
Thankfully,
All over the french fry.
I ordered
And I will not pick up that, like, and they are coming out of the wall.
left fielder, number 4, Troy Stokes Jr.
Well, we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, 4-0 Blue Crabs, and the first pitch to Troy Stokes Jr. is a swing and a miss, and the count 0-1 on the righty. Oh, 1 pitch from Adrian Cook, swing and a miss, and the count 1 ball or no balls and 2 strikes. Cook has thrown 50 pitches across 3+ innings of work. He's allowed 4 hits and he's walked 1. And the 0-2 pitch buried low and away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. All right, so we've got a couple of comments in the YouTube chat. 1-2 pitch. This one driven high in the air, left field, long run. Sundberg is chasing. He couldn't quite get there in time, though. And so the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Well, we've got a couple of comments. Susan H. says, "Ew, don't let the bugs come with you. They've made it to Virginia already." Now, these are the lantern flies that are everywhere across New York and Pennsylvania. You don't want them near you. If you see them, you're told to smush them because they are a pest. They are invasive. They don't belong here. 1-2. Low and away. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tammy Shipley says, "Hope everyone is having a blessed Sunday. Go Blue Crabs." Well, I hope you're having a blessed Sunday, Tammy. Thank you for your comments here. Tammy Shipley says, "I'm from Georgia and Florida, but I'm well acquainted with the huge bugs." And the 2-2 pitch, that one a little inside in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Donnie Geeky says, "Let's go Blue Crabs," watching from Powder Springs, Georgia. Three balls and 2 strikes on Troy Stokes Jr. now. 4-0 Blue Crabs after the run on the top of the 4th. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball slowly to the third base side. Tough play for everyone, and no one's going to have a play. Adrian Cook tried to field it on the backhand. Wilansky tried to go on the forehand. No one was going to have a play on Troy Stokes Jr. at first. It's an infield single for the righty. And there's a runner on first base with nobody out. We got a couple other comments. Veronica Harris Schmitz says, "Way to go, David. Houston, Texas in the house." A 2-run home run earlier today from David Harris. Harris also has a single today. Tammy says, "Hey, Donnie, I was down your way last weekend." We're going to get back to our discussion question in just one moment, as the pitch is a little bit low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Elmer Reyes. We'll get back to that discussion question. Tammy Shipley says, "Puerto Rico is probably the answer, even though that is the U.S. They need to have a team." I think probably. Susan H. says the Dominican. Jet lag would be too much otherwise. I think you're probably right there. Pitch has popped up in the infield. It's Michael Baca, who now drifts out of the outfield grass, gets under it and makes the catch for the first out. There is one away. In the bottom of the 4th inning, runner on first base, 4-0 Blue Crabs still. Tammy Shipley says that Mexico City would also be a good addition. I think it could be pretty interesting to see a team in Mexico City. Susan H. says, "Are parents of the players coming in for the playoffs? If they are, I need to do some interviews with some of the parents." I'd be happy to do that. Go multiple pregame interviews, or maybe multiple parents for one pregame interview.
I had to get that one.
Hear about some of the stories from some of the players growing up. I'd love to hear some of those stories and the sacrifices the parents make as well. Pitch, one hopper over to second, could be two on a second for one, back on to first, not in time. As Josue Herrera runs rather well. It was a one hopper, nicely fielded on the forehand by Yetzko. He turned and fired to the shortstop Baca, who made a good throw to first, but Herrera runs well enough. So the Blue Crabs could not turn two. As Lenin Rodriguez comes to the plate. Charlie asks, were there fireworks yesterday? There were fireworks yesterday here in York. They actually do their fireworks right in center field. So the fireworks are launched out of center field in the field of play. And we're not as good as the fireworks in Southern Maryland, I can tell you that much. They were all right. I think the ones in Waldorf are better. As the pitch is a called strike, count 0-1. Southern Maryland will have the fireworks display on Friday. It'll be next Friday night, not, well, I guess 2 Fridays from now. Pitch. That's a little low on the count. 1 ball and 1 strike during the divisional round playoff game. So Blue Crabs will play Tuesday and Wednesday on the road, which is almost certainly going to be in Lancaster. And then play at home for games 3, 4, and 5. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, count 1-2. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I think it's worth repeating. I think there needs to be an alteration in the playoff format with the first and second half. Either you win both halves and you get a bye to the championship. I think that's reasonable. Or you don't want to do that. As the pitch, swinging a line drive, left field. This one falls in for a base hit. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. If not that, they got to get some sort of advantage. Maybe you host all 5 games for the playoffs. I think that's at least an option. But if you win both halves, I feel like you really deserve some sort of a strong advantage there in the playoffs. Connor Lean will dig in. There's also a bus trip, so if you are listening from the Waldorf area and want to make the trip to Lancaster, there is a bus trip for Game 1. You can contact the Blue Crabs box office for more information on that. And the pitch to Connor Lean. It's a little bit low in the count. 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0 pitch, a wave and a miss. Oh, I beg your pardon. It was inside on Lean. Count 2-0. Thought he might have offered, but I guess he did not. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the pitch to Lean. This one driven foul, third base side. And the count. 2 balls and 1 strike on the righty. Now, Southern Maryland leads this game 4-0. But funny enough, the hits numbers are the same for Cook and Rivera. Adrian Cook, no runs on 6 hits today. I guess, look, that's all you need to do is not allow any runs. And the pitch, that's a called strike. And the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. A little bit upstairs, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second, and a 4-0 lead for the Blue Crabs over the Revs. With Lean at the plate, Cook comes set. 3-2 pitch, runners in motion, swing and a miss. Lean goes down swinging to end the bottom of the 4th inning. A big-time strikeout for Adrian Cook on Connor Lean, and that ends the bottom of the 4th inning. Well, York scores no runs on 6 hits. Blue Crabs 4 runs on 6 hits as we're finished with 4 innings of play. We go to the top of the 5th from PeoplesBanks Park in York, Pennsylvania. Well, we're back in the top of the 5th inning. Jack Sundberg shows bunt. He pulls back in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Charlie asks if the fireworks show was big or small. I mean, it was maybe 10 minutes. Not a bad show. I think the one in Southern Maryland was just significantly better. Pitch popped up foul, third base side. This one finds the seats. And the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And I don't even say that in a biased way, since I'm obviously with the Blue Crabs here, but I just think the fireworks presentation was significantly better. I mean, there were better fireworks down with the Blue Crabs, and thought the show was all right, but it was pretty much the same fireworks over and over again. I think the first minute it was the same exact firework, one after the next, same design, same everything. And I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. They did end up changing it up, but it was a very slow start to the show. Sundberg fouls one off his foot, and the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. This one, ground ball over to the first base side. Going to be a tough play, and Nelly Rodriguez gathers and steps on first just in time to get Jack Sundberg. And there is one away. Here comes Michael Wolanski, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Strikeout and a flyout. We know how hard he can hit the ball, and he was robbed of extra bases yesterday after he hit one about 104 miles an hour off the bat. A line drive to left center.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just going to leave it like this.
And the first pitch. Line drive foul. First base side.
Is it back on?
The count 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 out. Or no balls, 1 strike and 1 out, I should say. And the pitch called strike on Wolanski. No balls and 2 strikes on the righty, who's at third base today. And the 0-2. Low in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. It is 1, 2, and 3 in the Blue Crabs order. It was Sundberg who led things off with the ground out. Wolanski will be followed by Lee. Pitches up and away. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. So, fans, we had a bit of that conversation. Let's see if anyone else wants to chime in on some other locations. So, Tammy Shipley said Mexico City and Puerto Rico. I believe it was Susan H. who said the Dominican Republic. Pitch, line drive, very well struck. Deep left field. This one back at the warning track, at the wall, and Lean tracks it down. Oh, we've said this already, that Wolanski's been robbed out of a few hits. He roped that ball to the wall on the left, and Lean somehow got there and take it away. Oh, a terrific catch as Wolanski is robbed of extra bases on a line drive to left field. Ball nearly got out of here as well, and instead it's just a long second out. And the pitch a little bit upstairs for ball 1 on Braxton Lee. And the pitch fouled off back behind home plate. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning. Here is the 1-1. That's up and in. Count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs for Braxton Lee, who has singled and walked so far today. Drove in a run back in the 1st inning as well. Here is the 2-1 pitch. That's low and in. Count 3-1. Opportunity for him to reach for the 3rd time today as he's ahead in the count 3-1. And it's David Harris on deck, which is not exactly who Eduardo Rivera would like to see. Harris has homered and single. Pitch popped up toward left center field. It is the left fielder Troy Stokes Jr. who drifts over and makes the catch for the final out. We're halfway done here in Southern Maryland. It's the Blue Crabs who have a 4-0 lead over the Revs on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
And the pitch is popped up, foul back behind home plate. And the count 0-1 as JC Encarnacion comes to the plate in the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-0 Blue Crabs. And the count 0-1 on the righty. Southern Maryland 4, York nothing. Over the head, here's the delivery from Cook. It's low, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, no outs. Pitch, that's upstairs. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs.
Or just eliminate, that's fine, either one.
And the 2-1, a little low and away, count 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike. And the pitch, ground ball through the left side for a base hit. It's the 7th hit of the day for the Revs. They remain off the board here in the bottom of the 5th inning with nobody out, but maybe here they're trying to get something going here. This is a base runner has gotten on for the 5th consecutive inning now. Well, somehow Adrian Cook has allowed 7 hits and 1 walk over the course of 4 innings. And not allowed a run. That's honestly kind of hard to believe, but he's managed to do it. And the check swing. Did he go? Want to motion down to the second base umpire. And they do, and he did not. Looked from my vantage point back here like Perez may have offered, but the umpires are in agreement. Ian Pittenger along with Marty Hassenfuss. 1-0 pitch, that's low, count 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, no outs. Jeffrey Perez on a cloudy afternoon in York, Pennsylvania. There was rain in the forecast. There was rain that came this morning. There's no rain here this afternoon. 2-0. That misses, count 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes, no outs. For now, no action in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Though Eddie Butler is walking out that way. Not sure if he's alerting anybody that someone needs to get going or not, but the 3-0 pitch is a called strike. Count 3-1. Well, a couple things here. First of all, it's nice that the Blue Crabs have some room to work with because they've got a 4-0 lead here. 3-1 pitch. That's ball 4, but now the runner's on first and second with nobody out. I mean, if you're York here, you got to get at least 1. Now, Cook has, again, allowed 9 base runners across 4+ innings. Somehow allowed no runs. But York is threatening now. Melky Mesa steps in. And the pitch, swing and a miss, breaking ball. The count 0-1. Mesa singled back in the first inning. He struck out in the third. One of Cook's 5 strikeouts today. 80 pitches, 46 for strikes, 34 for balls. Walks numbers not as high as they've been in past outings, but he still has walked 2 today. This pitch is tapped foul behind home plate. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes on Melky Mesa. It's Encarnacion from second base. Meanwhile, over on first, it's Jeffrey Perez. Perez reached via a walk. Encarnacion on a single. Now he's got the middle of the lineup to deal with. 0-2. Swing and a high pop-up right field foul. That's going to get toward the seats in the concourse level. Count remains 0-2. Now I think at this point for the Revs, the thought has to be get some base runners on, get some guys in scoring position, and trying to find a way to force across a run here. But if you're Adrian Cook, you've got some pitches to work with in an 0-2 count. That pitch is up and in, count 1-2. Now Connor Law is warming up in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Law went an inning on Friday and struggled. Allowed 4 runs, 3 earned. He's had a very good year overall, though. I think this has to signal that if he's going to come into this ball game, we'll get there after this pitch. 1-2. Line drive foul. If he comes into this game, you'd probably think he goes for the 5th. Maybe Baker 6th, Dykstra 7th, Briseño 8th, and Latos 9th. I mean, that's at least an option they have. And Dalton Geeky has another option as well as part of that bullpen. But I like what Stan Clyburn's doing here in that he wants to get a guy like Law involved now so that he feels comfortable. Did not pitch for 8 days prior to his tough outing. 1-2 pitch. Popped foul. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Encarnacion from second, Perez from first. Here's the pitch to Melky Mesa. A little low, count 2-2. We talked about how Adrian Cook was ahead in the count. That was just the 7th pitch in the at-bat, though. He's already tried to beat him 3 times, and he's induced swings, but every one's been a foul. This is going to be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Still, he's got a couple pitches to work with. That's low. So after an 0-2 count, Adrian Cook now deals with a full count. That was the 8th pitch. This will be pitch number 9. Look, it makes sense for him trying to get a swing and a miss on a breaking ball on a 2-2 pitch after he's been fouling off the fastballs that have been left over the plate. 3-2 pitch. Hits the knob of the bat. It's a foul ball, and it deflects over toward the on-deck circle where Nelly Rodriguez is. Meanwhile, Cook has thrown 88 pitches. It's across 4+ innings of work. You'd have to wonder if Adrian Cook allows Melky Mesa to reach. Does that spell the end of the outing? I think it's definitely possible. He's gone 4 innings, 88 pitches. Allowed 9 base runners, 7 hits, 2 walks, no runs. That part's hard to believe. But it's true. 3-2. That's away. It's ball 4. Oh, my. Bases loaded and nobody out as the Revs are really threatening here in the bottom of the 5th inning. As David Harris jogs out toward the bullpen. Not sure if he's getting a check or exactly what he's getting. He's just warming up to make sure he's ready to stay in this ball game. Should Adrian Cook exit the ball game before the 5th, looks as though he's going to enter the ball game. Where, I'm not sure, but it does appear as though he may stay in this game as a fielder. Would be an interesting sign. Either way, the bases are loaded with nobody out because Harris is the DH. The Blue Crabs would lose the DH should he exit the game. But he was just getting some stretching in moments ago, which would signal to me that he might be staying in the game. First pitch, upstairs, count 1 ball and no strikes. I'm not sure if he'd go in left field or where he might go. He has only played in the field twice this year. 1-0 delivery on the ground to third. It's Wolanski who throws to the plate and gets the lead out. Well done. And they get 2? Well, I guess he got 2 as part of that ordeal. A double play. The bases were loaded. I guess he tagged third base, threw to the plate. DeLuca tagged out the runner. And wow, Wolanski with a heck of a play. A 5-2 double play. And he gets the 2 lead runners is all of this. An extremely heads-up play by the third baseman, Michael Wolanski, to not only tag third base to get the initial out, but then go to the plate to get the second out. How about that play by Michael Wolanski? And it's a 4-0 game with 2 outs. I didn't see he tagged the base, but I guess he did in all of that. So there are 2 away now in the bottom of the 5th. Runners on first and second. Adrian Cook with a gift from his fielders. Michael Wolanski has come up big at third base in his first appearance there this year. Pitch, swing and a miss, count 0-1. Well, we've seen his defensive play at second base and shortstop this year, but he's also making a count at third base. I think if Stan Clyburn had any questions about who his third baseman is down the stretch, that might have erased them. Oh, 1 pitch. That's in the dirt. Gets past DeLuca. Have to imagine that's going to be a wild pitch. As it advances both runners. So Nelly Rodriguez from first to second. Melky Mesa from second to third. Remains 4-0 Blue Crabs. Now, I'm not sure if Baker will be available here in today's ballgame or if Dykstra is, but as both of them went yesterday as part of the 5-4 loss, pitch called strike, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the bottom of the 5th inning. Is Cook going to find a way to work out of trouble here? That'd be something else. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Adrian Cook strikes out Troy Stokes Jr. to end the bottom of the 5th inning. York strands 2. At the end of 5, it's 4-0 Blue Crabs on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ryan Haug, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, David Harris remains in this ball game as he takes a first pitch called strike from Eduardo Rivera. The reason being that Adrian Cook went 5 innings of work, and the pitch called strike again. The count 0-2. Now Rivera's gone 5 innings, 84 pitches. 0-2 pitches way upstairs. Count 1-2. Meanwhile, Cook has gone 95 pitches, 56 strikes. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball, and that is strikeout number 7 for Rivera across 5 1/3. As Joe DeLuca will come to the plate. DeLuca is 0 for 2 today. Well, across the Atlantic League, let's give you some updates on some scores. And it's Staten Island over Long Island 7-2. The top of the 7th and the bottom of the 6th. Wild Health over High Point 7-5. Lexington leads Gastonia 6-2. It's in game 1 of a doubleheader. And the 1-0 pitch, line drive to first. Nelly Rodriguez snags it, and there's 2 away. An awfully quick 2 up and 2 down here on the top of the 6th. Again, I would be interested to see what the Blue Crabs are going to do here for the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th on the mound. They've got some good options. But I'm not quite sure who's going to be available, who will be unavailable. I mean, there is an off day tomorrow, so you'd think that almost everybody, if not everybody, would be ready by Tuesday for that series at Long Island. Pitch called a ball, and the count 1-0. It's Collier, and Walker will be next. Two 0. Upstairs, count 3-0. I beg your pardon. Count is merely 2-0. I had 1-0, and then I saw 2-0 was already up on the scoreboard, and then there was another ball. Either way, count 2 balls and no strikes. It's a called strike. Collier doesn't like it, though. He thought that was outside. And the count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 4-0 in favor of the Blue Crabs in the top of the 6th inning. Here is the 2-1. Popped him up. Third base side. That ball is going to get out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch. That's inside. Count 3-2. Well, Collier will dig back in. Walker on deck. Base path's empty for Southern Maryland. 3-2. Fouled back. That was the 6th pitch of the at-bat. So this will be number 7. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Ground ball back toward the mound. Eduardo Rivera's got it. He'll toss to first. And that ends the inning. We're done with 5.5 innings of play. It's Southern Maryland who have a 4-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
How's our team doing?
We go to the bottom of the 6th inning as the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs have a 4-0 lead. First pitch to Elmer Reyes is a called strike from Connor Law, and the count 0-1. Connor Law making his second appearance with the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs this season. And the pitch fouled off. That one ripped right at the dugout for York, but everyone seemed to get out of the way just in time. Last time out was on Friday. He went an inning, allowed 3 hits, 2 walks, 4 runs, 3 earned, struck out 1. On the year, a 1-2 record, a 3.21 ERA. And the 0-2 pitch, line drive foul. And the count remains 0-2. Blue Crabs on the season are 80-44, 32-26 in the second half. Law coming in a somewhat high leverage role. 0-2 pitch, popped him up, foul. That one going to stay here. It's going to stay in play. DeLuca's got it tracked. He makes the catch, and there's one away. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th for Connor Law. And Josue Herrera comes to the plate. And the first pitch, a little bit low in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on Herrera. Base paths are empty. Herrera digs back in. Moves his bat in a circular motion. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out on Herrera. Here's the pitch. Low in the dirt, count 2-1. Southern Maryland with a 4-0 lead over the Revs. And the pitch, wave and a miss. Count 2-2 now on Herrera as Law goes to the breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Crabs 4 runs on 6 hits. York no runs on 7 hits. And the 2-2. Now a little away. Count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That's low, it's ball 4, and Herrera walks. So runner on first base now with 1 out. As Lenin Rodriguez will come to the plate. Rodriguez taps home plate once. And the pitch a little bit upstairs, and the count 1-0. A short lead at first base from Josue Herrera. Connor Law the pitch, called strike. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The velocity so far from Connor Law. Fastball 90 to 92. He's touched 92 a couple of times. With the runner on first base and 1 out. The 8-hitter in the order, Rodriguez, takes a look at the 81-mile-an-hour slider, and the count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. A cloudy afternoon in York, Pennsylvania, as Rodriguez fouls it off yet again. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, one of the changes we discussed was the pickoff moves in Major League Baseball. You only get 2. The third time you throw over, you have to get the guy out. Otherwise, he's awarded another base, I believe, is the consequence for throwing over that third time. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. High fastball, and Law gets Lenin Rodriguez swinging. And there are 2 away here in the 2nd inning. There's a runner on first base as Connor Lean rubs his hands in the dirt, claps them together, kicks around some dirt from the right side. He'll dig in. It's 4-0 Southern Maryland. 3 runs back in the first, 1 run in the fourth. That's been all the scoring today. I'd hesitate to say that Cook had a terrific outing, but didn't allow a run. Pitch, called strike. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Check swing over toward JC Encarnacion. And the 0-2 pitch upcoming to Lean with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. 4-0 Southern Maryland. Runner on first base. That's Josue Herrera, who walked earlier in the inning. 0-2 pitch fought off by Lean, and the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Rain came earlier today. Heard up in the northeast, it's great weather today. 0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Connor Law with a pair of strikeouts in the bottom of the 6th. And he works around a 1-out walk in a scoreless inning. We go to the top of the 7th. The Blue Crabs still have a 4-0 lead on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf.
And the first pitch is low to Jared Walker on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. One ball, no strikes, and Patrick Baker now warming for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. The pitch is popped up, shallow left field. It's the shortstop Elmer Reyes who's out there to make the catch for the first out. Well, interestingly, Eduardo Rivera out there here in the 7th. He's allowed 4 runs, but only 6 hits. As Ian Yetzko comes to the plate, he's had a tough time against Rivera thus far. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And the first pitch, low and away. Count 1 ball and no strikes. And Yetzko's seen a pretty healthy diet of breaking balls recently. And the 1-0. Line drive. This one into left center field for a base hit. A single for Ian Yetzko, who's 1 for 3 today. After a pair of strikeouts, he hits a line drive over the shortstop Elmer Reyes' head. And the Blue Crabs have a runner on first with 1 out. Oh, runner on first, 1 out for Michael Baca. Baca restraps the batting gloves, digs back in from the right side. Blue Crabs might have some roster changes coming up by the time they play on Long Island on Tuesday, as they have to have their official playoff roster in tomorrow and trying to finalize a couple of things there as the pitch is in there for a called strike. So you might see some moves. Of course, the Blue Crabs will not have either Raul Shah or Alex Crosby for that trip either, as the 0-1 pitch, line drive foul, first base side. The count 0-2, as both them are going to be in Germany representing Team Great Britain. Raul Shah born in Great Britain. And Alex Crosby, his mother is from Great Britain. And the count 0-2. And the pitch, ground ball through the right side, a base hit for Michael Baca. Yetzko pulls up at second. The Blue Crabs have runners on first and second with one out in the inning. So top of the seventh, just one out, and it looks like that's going to spell the end of the road for Eduardo Rivera. 101 pitches. And he strikes out 7. He allows 8 hits. He walked 2, allowed 4 runs, and on the hook for the 2 runners on base. Well, the Blue Crabs got to Rivera a little bit tonight. Overall, a rather strong outing, though, as he gave his team a chance to win, but they have been unable to drive in any runs. This team is 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The Blue Crabs 2 for 6. It's been enough, though. The 2-run home run from David Harris has also helped. Well, it's a call to the bullpen. We'll break down the numbers on the new pitcher when we come back on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to WilliamRichmondInc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service.
Well, Jack Sundberg will step in from the left side with runners on first and second against the new pitcher, Doug Olchese. And the pitch, that's upstairs. Well, Casey comes in with a 5.00 ERA. The lefty has a 0-0 record. He's walked 7. He struck out just 4. Pitch, swinging a high fly ball, well struck, rather deep to right center. Back at the warning track, at the wall. That ball is gone. Oh, how about that? Another home run from Jack Sundberg. He goes deep for the second time in as many days, for the third time in 4 days, and the Blue Crabs have broken it open at 7-0. Jack Sundberg drills a 3-run shot over the wall in right, I should say, over that less stress, better business sign. And the Blue Crabs have blown it open at 7-0 over the York Revolution. And Michael Wolanski will dig in. Oh, how about that? Jack Sundberg, 3 home runs in the last 4 days. He only had 4 home runs all year coming in. He's really developed a power swing of sorts as the pitch is swung on and missed. Count 0-1 on Michael Wolanski. Well, that gives the Blue Crabs bullpen a lot more comfort down the stretch that they've got this game in hand. Pitch called strike, count 0-1. And not only that, but should things turn south, count 0-2 I should say. Should things turn south, you still have those options in the bullpen to go with, such as Dykstra and Baker and Bresenio and Latos. So you've got these other options, but if the Blue Crabs want to go to someone like Polanco, you can go and give someone like that some innings when you're up by 7. Pitch. It's low, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Be interested to see who else might get some action tonight. They still have to eat 3 more innings. Pitch, line drive, 1 hopper. Oh, it hit the third baseman. That's Herrera, who knocked him down. He fired at first for the out, but it ate him up, and he's now down on the ground. We'll talk about the effort to go up and throw the ball after getting hit. And we'll have to see if he's all right. That ball hit him in the midsection.
On Sunday, September 18th, we honor everyone.
As there is the third baseman, Josue Herrera, down. Well, good for him, first of all, for making the play before going down in agony. That's a tough break for Josue Herrera. Have to see if Herrera's going to stay in this one, as the Blue Crabs have a 7-0 lead over York. As it was Wolanski who hit a hot shot right at him. Almost like he couldn't get out of the way of the ball. As Herrera gets back to his feet. I hit him in an uncomfortable spot, to say the least, for Herrera. So looks like he's going to be okay, though. It just takes some time there, and he's back to his feet. Good for him for getting up, though, for throwing over to first base. And his teammates giving him a little bit of a hard time for it. 2 away in the top of the 7th. It's Braxton Lee, who will dig in from the left side. Here is the pitch. That's low and away. Count 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Herrera is still in some discomfort. You can tell he's over there just trying to fidget around and do anything to take his mind off the pain. 0-1-0 pitch is up and in. Count 2 balls and no strikes. Nothing you can do, though, and no reason to come out of the ball game at this point. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. On the ground, this one over towards second base. Fielded on the backhand. Throw to first is in time to get Braxton Lee by a half a step. Really, really close over there at first base. He wanted the safe call, wasn't going to get it from Buzz Albert, and that ends the top of the 7th inning. Time to get up and stretch. The Blue Crabs scored 3 runs on a 3-run shot from Jack Sundberg. It's 7-0 Blue Crabs on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Ian Yetzko, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Are you in the market for a new roof? Well, give William Richmond Inc. a call and get serviced by Southern Maryland's premier roofing contractor. Locally owned and operated, William Richmond Inc. is licensed, bonded, and insured, and has a 5-star rating on HomeAdvisor. They care about their work almost as much as they care about your home. Call 443-432-3426 today for a free estimate, or go to williamrichmondinc.com. Don't forget to mention the Blue Crabs and save 10% on any service.
Bottom of the 7th inning, first pitch of J.C. Encarnacion is a called strike from Patrick Baker, who does enter the game despite the 7-run lead. I guess he was already warming up, and there was no reason for him to sit down if he was already started to get going. So, count 0-1. I'd be interested to see what direction the Blue Crabs go rest of the game, though. As the first pitch, or the 0-1 pitch, is a called strike, count 0-2. And the bottom of the 7th inning. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Here is the 0-2. It's low, count 1-2. Patrick Baker, the big righty. Also a hard-throwing righty, can throw mid-90s, upper 90s pitch. Breaking ball, strike 3. Encarnacion swings and misses at an 85-mile-an-hour slider. That's tucked low and out of the zone, and there is one away.
Second baseman number 2, Jeffrey Perez.
Jeffrey Perez comes to the plate. Perez taps home plate a couple of times. Baker, the first pitch. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. Count 0-1 on Perez. Baker's been looking really, really good recently. He's gotten his control down. He's also limited the hits. And the pitch. 0-1 down, and the count 1-1. There's been a combination of 3 pitchers recently who have pitched incredibly well. It's been Baker, Dykstra, and Briseño. We haven't gotten to see enough of a few other guys to get a real idea, but 1-1 pitch on the ground over to second. A bit of a tough bounce. It's going to get flipped over to Baker, who's in time, covering for the out. Yetzko went to chase after it, out, as did Jared Walker. Baker covered the bag, and he gets there in time for the second out.
Your designated hitter
Here comes Melky Mesa. Well, Cook went 5 innings, allowed 7 hits and 3 walks while striking out 6. Somehow didn't allow a run despite the 10 base runners. Connor Law worked around a 1-out walk. He struck out 2 in an inning of work. And Baker now 2 up and 2 down with the strikeout as Melky Mesa takes a called strike and the count 0-1. On the other side, Eduardo Rivera, 6 1/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. While Chasey allowed the 3-run home run to Jack Sundberg. When Rivera left the ball game, he only allowed 4 runs, but both the runners he left on came around and scored. Again, it comes courtesy of the 3-run home run from Sundberg. 1-1 pitch, called strike. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Melky Mesa. And Baker has been heavily reliant upon that slider here in today's ball game. That's 86, 87 most recently pitched. High fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Baker goes 94 up and in on Melky Mesa, who defensively swings and misses. And that ends the bottom of the 7th inning. A pair of strikeouts, a 1-2-3 inning for Baker. As we go to the top of the 8th, it's 7-0 Blue Crabs on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Nick Wells, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Come stay at the Holiday Inn Express Waldorf, where teamwork makes the dream work. A proud sponsor of the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs and your home away from home. The Holiday Inn Express is located at 11,370 Days Court. That's 11370 Days Court, Waldorf, near the Waldorf Shoppers World Shopping Center. Call 301-932-9200 to make a reservation or look us up at ihg.com or on the IHG app. Come put your feet up and enjoy the complimentary free breakfast and indoor heated pool at the Holiday Inn Express, Waldorf.
Well, David Harris enters the ball game in the top of the 8th inning. Hit a 2-run home run in the first, singled in the third, and he struck out in the 6th. Pitch has popped up foul behind home plate. Count 0-1. 7-0 Blue Crabs. That's your score in the top of the 8th inning. Things went awry for York in the 7th when there was a 3-run home run from Jack Sundberg. Here's the 0-1. On the ground slowly towards short. It's the third baseman Herrera who throws, and it's Harris who dives in safely. Harris has been going with that dive to first base a lot recently. It's been paying off. Well, it's an infield single for David Harris. You don't see those all that often, but he runs it out and picks up the infield hit. Harris runs pretty well. Of course, he's been dealing with the injury, though, so sort of working around that whole situation. As Joe DeLuca will come to the plate. DeLuca in the midst of a bit of a slump right now. He's 0 for 3 today. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, 0 for 4 in game 1 of this series, so just 1 for 11 overall. And the pitch, wave and a miss on a breaking ball, and the count 0-1. We've seen what DeLuca can do when he's swinging the bat well, especially last season. He really stood out, hitting north of 300. Also the MVP in the Panamanian League. Played briefly in AAA and an A-ball pitch. That's away. Count 1-1.
I thought we were supposed to get this year. I thought we were supposed to get this year.
10 home runs for DeLuca on the season. Last year he hit .304, 500 slugging percentage, and 16 homers. 1-1 pitch, little away. Count 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
DeLuca 5 for 7 in stolen bases. He's got a little bit of speed.
You stop paying
Harris
attention.
just 2 for 3, and again, he's just reluctant to run.
Well, you're the one. I'm not watching the game over here, so I don't know what you're talking about. This is the game I'm watching.
2 balls, 1 strike on Joe DeLuca. Here's the pitch. Line drive. Oh, and it's caught on a diving play by the second baseman. Jeffrey Perez dove up the middle and made the catch for the second out. Wow, what a play defensively from the second baseman, Jeffrey Perez, who dove up the middle and robbed a base hit from DeLuca, and I'm sure he'd point to a lot of those plays over the course of the season as to why the batting average down a little bit, as the fielders have robbed him. Runner on first base, 1 out. And the pitch. A little bit upstairs, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Here is the 1-0 pitch. That's low. The count 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out.
The little tiny red dot on the screen. What?
Your attendance for Sunday afternoon, 1992. As this pitch is lofted into shallow center field. Long run, and it's going to fall for a base hit in front of Connor Lean. A perfectly placed bloop single for Zach Collier, who pokes it into center field, and there are 2 on with 1 out. As Jared Walker comes to the plate, it'll be followed by Ian Yetzko. Collier off of first, Harris from second. And the pitch, ground ball foul, first base side. And the count 0-1.
Yeah, I was like, we're watching 2 different games.
Blue Crabs, 7 runs on 11 hits for York, no runs on 7 hits. The Blue Crabs bullpen has thrown 2 scoreless innings. And the 0-1 pitch is fouled off, third base side, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Hi, downtown.
Harris from second, Collier over on first base. Harris with a short lead off of first. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on Jared Walker. The fastball looked a little up, but he's called out on strikes nonetheless. And there are 2 away. Here comes Ian Yetzko.
Second baseman, number 7, Ian Yetzko.
On the year, Yetzko hitting .267. He's 1 for 3 today. Had a line drive single to left. Does have 2 strikeouts as he faces Brent DeGus. First pitch, called strike. Gonna count 0-1. Michael Baca on deck. Baca 2 for 3. His average up to 222. And the 0-1. Up and in the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. 2 on for the Blue Crabs in the top of the 8th. Still be interested to see where the Blue Crabs go for the bottom of the 9th inning. Yeah, they're going to go with Geeky here in the bottom of the 8th. They go Latos, pitch, ground ball. This one fielded by the shortstop. That's Elmer Reyes, who flips to Jeffrey Perez for the final out. And that ends the top of the 8th inning. Thought that one might have a chance at finding the hole up the middle, but nicely fielded by the shortstop, Elmer Reyes, and the flip to Jeffrey Perez for the final out. We're done with 7.5 innings of play. It's Southern Maryland who have a 7-0 lead over York. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Blue Crabs Baseball on the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
Well, Dalton Geeky enters this ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning. Pitch is a called strike on Nelly Rodriguez, and the count 0-1. Well, let's give you the numbers on Dalton Geeky this season. The righty's battled through a little bit of injuries over the course of the year. He has a 1-3 record, a 4.69 earned run average, a whip of 1.68. Last year he had really good numbers. 2-2 ERA with a 3.22 earned run average. This year just hasn't quite been the same for him. Also hasn't been the same spot in the bullpen. As the count 1 ball and 1 strike now on Nelly Rodriguez. Pitch, this one fouled off, first base side toward the seats. Count 1-2. Now, just back on that last point from Dalton Geeky, he was the 7th inning guy consistently last year, and Patrick Baker was sort of a floating around the bullpen guy. Sometimes long relief, and he didn't have great control. And this year, the change being that Baker has been extremely consistent and has really earned that 7th inning role. Pitch from Nelly Rodriguez, swinging a high fly ball, center field rather deep. Sends Collier back, but he's in front of the warning track where he makes the catch. A light rain is falling. It's almost like a mist. It is a rain. It's a rain. But most fans have gloves, or have hats on, I should say, not gloves. And it's covering their head. It's enough to brave the light rain. As Troy Stokes Jr. digs in from the right side. For Southern Maryland, 7 runs on 11 hits, and the first pitch is a called strike, and the count 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch, a called strike, count 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. After Adrian Cook allowed no runs on 7 hits and 2 walks, this bullpen has also allowed no runs. No hits and 1 walk. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. A breaking ball gets Troy Stokes Jr. swinging. Let's go through the way the pitching staff's performed today. 7 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 walks. The bullpen's allowed no hits and 1 walk and struck out 5 across 2 2/3. Law walked 1 batter. It was on a 3-2 pitch. And the pitch now from Baker on the ground foul, third base side. Count no balls and 1 strike with 2 away in the bottom of the 8th inning on Elmer Reyes. Pitch is low in the dirt, count 1-1. And the pitch is a little bit away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Elmer Reyes, who bats in the 6th spot for the Revs tonight. And the 1-1 pitch, big cut and a miss on a 94-mile-an-hour heater. 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Reyes. Or beg your pardon, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch, ground ball over to first, fielded by Walker. The flip to Geeky is in time. A 1-2-3 inning from Dalton Geeky. He strikes out a batter in the process. We're done with 8 innings of play from PeoplesBanks Park. We go to the top of the 9th in the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
This is Alex Crosby, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
At Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, mortgages are what they do, not who they are. Fairway Mortgage Corporation is a proud partner of the American Warrior Initiative. A key part of this initiative is to educate, encourage, and inspire Americans to give back to our military. Visit their website at www.americanwarriorinitiative.com for more details. Our military fought to protect the American dream. Let's help them live it.
Josh Norwood enters for the York Revolution. Has a 0-0 record and hasn't pitched all that much, but has a 33.75 ERA. Pitch is low. Count 1 ball and no strikes. I don't think I've ever had to read a number off. Well, we've done that once this year, but we won't go there. But 33.75 that's high. 1-0 pitch, swinging a high fly ball, center field shallow. It's Connor Lean, who takes a couple steps in, and the count 1 ball. Or there's one. The count was 1-0, but now there's 1 away, in the top of the 9th inning. Well, the ERA falls quite quickly after you get an out, and you haven't pitched all that much. Let's see what the MLB had him listed at 16.20, not 33.5. So I don't know which one's right, but the ERA now falls to 15.58. So, all right. I mean, down almost a run. You're not going to complain about that.
I do have a psychoanalyst.
And there is 1 away in the top of the 9th as Jack Sundberg digs in. Breaking ball a little high in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Sundberg is 2 for 4, and Dario Polanco is warming up in the Blue Crabs bullpen. Makes perfect sense. Here's the pitch. Called strike, outside corner. And the count 1-1. And if the Blue Crabs were to need to go to another pitcher because Polanco fell apart, which I don't foresee happening, you've got options. That's the luxury of having a 7-0 lead. Pitch is low and in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And Polanco really has been pretty consistent this year. I mean, he allows a run or two from time to time, and ERA near 7, but he's been a guy who's been a consistent pitcher when you need 3 or 4 innings out of somebody because your starter didn't go deep. And he's been that guy this year, and he's fulfilled that role quite nicely. As the 2-1 pitch is fouled off. It's a role that Merrithew had earlier this year, and he pitched so well in it, he earned himself a spot in the starting rotation and has thrived since then. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. I think at a time, Polanco was pitching well enough. There was a hole in the rotation. He might have gotten a spot start here or there. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off, third base side, and the count remains 2-2. He doesn't throw all that hard. Throws 88, 89, touches 90. A lefty who brings something extra to something a little different to the mound. He doesn't throw sidearm the way Cody Strayer did, but 2 balls, 2 strikes, fouled off, third base side, and the count remains 2-2. Give you some updates from around the Atlantic League as we come up on the 5 o'clock hour. It's Staten Island over Long Island, 7-3 final. Meanwhile, Wild Health over High Point, 9-7. Gastonia trails Lexington in game 1, 7-6 in the 7th inning. Pitch line drive into right field for a base hit. A 3-for-5 day from Jack Sundberg. He's going to finish a triple shy of the cycle with a single, a double, and a home run tonight. As Michael Wolanski digs in with 1 out in the top of the 9th. I guess you never know. I mean, he could theoretically come up again. It would take a lot, but stranger things have happened, that's for sure. He'd then have to get a triple, which, again, wouldn't be easy. But if you were able to line it down that right field line or hit the alley in right center, it could happen. I mean, the chances are extraordinarily thin, but hey, I say with the lottery, hey, you never know. Wolanski's 0 for 4 today. Had a deep fly out to left center earlier. Pitch, that's up and away. Count 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out with Sundberg on second. Wolanski, someone who traditionally has good contact. Pitch. It's called strike. Count 2-1. That's why I was surprised to see him strike out. But again, he had a fly out to the warning track in left field that very nearly was a home run. He had a couple plays like that yesterday as well. I mean, this is a guy who's 0 for his last 8, but could easily be 2 or 3 for 8. pitch, swing and a miss. Count 2-2. That's sort of been the story more recently for a guy like Wolanski, who's hitting 271 on the year, but it feels like he's hitting 320 based on the way that he swings the bat, and his composure and his defensive abilities are so much that he brings to the table. 2-2 pitch, wave and a miss, and a pitch low in the dirt. That was a bad swing. One of the rare ones from Wolanski, who has good plate discipline, and they're 2 away. And here comes Braxton Lee. Lee has played as high as Major League Baseball. Lee digs in from the left side. And the pitch called strike, count 0-1 on the lefty. 7-0. I apologize for our scoreboard saying 7-4. Not sure how that got up there, but it is 7-0. As Dario Polanco warms up, breaking ball upstairs. And the count is 1-1 strike now on Lee. 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. The Blue Crabs are poised to avoid a sweep today. Would be the first sweep they've had all season, the first time they've been swept all season. And the pitch, that's away. Count 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Dario Polanco warming up. And 1-2-3 inning from him, or a scoreless inning at least, would be a fitting end based on the way this pitching staff has done so far. And the pitch, line drive foul, third base side. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The ability for Cook to surrender 10 base runners and no runs is, well, really quite mesmerizing. I don't know how that's even possible, to allow an average of 2 base runners per inning and keep the opposition off the board altogether. It's rare. 2-2 foul back. The one thing if you had 10 base runners over, say, 7 or 8 innings. But 10 base runners over 5 innings, 7 hits and 3 walks. Struck out 6. I mean, that plays into it if you're not advancing base runners via strikeouts. 2-2. Inside, count 3-2. But it's a gutsy performance. Its ability to pitch with runners on base makes a big difference. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And 3-2, runner goes. Fouled off, third base side. Tammy Shipley said Austin, referring to Wolanski's play at third base on a terrific double play ball, he said his left foot was on the base at the same time he was throwing to the plate. Had to rewind to see the play. As there were the bases loaded and no outs, ground ball to third. Wolanski stopped it, stepped on third base as he threw to the plate, and DeLuca tagged out the runner for the second out. It was a 5-2 double play. As the pitch, lined foul. Count remains 3-2 on the batter, Braxton Lee. That was the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Braxton Lee. This will be number 10.
We're at 3 hours.
Oh, we're just about hitting that 3-hour mark at 5 p.m. in front of a smaller crowd due to the rain. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Josh Norwood gets a strikeout. He works around a single from Jack Sundberg, and the Blue Crabs still have a 7-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Dario Polanco likely to enter when we come back.
This is Michael Baca, and you're listening to the Hometown Real Estate Broadcast Network.
We go to the bottom of the ninth, 7-0 Blue Crabs. Let's give you all a bit of an update on where the standings are right now in the Atlantic League after we give you the numbers on Dario Polanco, who has entered this ball game. Polanco allows a first pitch drive to left field. This one back. Sunburn at the warning track. He looks up. It's off the wall in left field. Didn't play it very well as he went all the way back to the wall as he was chasing it. And probably should have backed up and played it off the wall. Either way, it was probably going to be a double one way or another. But it's a leadoff double allowed by Dario Polanco, who enters this ball game with a 3-0 record and a 6.83 ERA. Well, he said either way, it's a double. It's Josue Herrera who's on second base, who went the other way as Lenin Rodriguez comes to the plate. So runner on second as Lenin Rodriguez digs in. First pitch called strike, and the count 0-1. Well, let's give you an idea of where the standings are. So we'll get to the wild card in just a moment. Blue Crabs 6 back. A win today would move them 5.5 back. Pitch called strike. And the count 0-1. Now, that series next weekend in Lancaster, if the Blue Crabs win today, and let's say Lancaster loses, and the Blue Crabs pick up an extra couple of games on the Barnstormers on Staten Island, Blue Crabs could theoretically be 3 back going into the series against Lancaster and could theoretically pass them. It's unlikely, dare I say it's very unlikely, but it's possible. Count 0-2 on Rodriguez. 0-2 pitch, low in the dirt, nicely blocked by Joe DeLuca, and the count 1-2. Now in the South Division, it's Gastonia with an 8.5 game lead over Lexington, also an 8.5 game lead over High Point, and an 11 game lead over Kentucky, who've really fallen off. Now, Kentucky's 5 games back from Lancaster, so if the Blue Crabs manage to pass the Barnstormers, Kentucky could theoretically come in and pass Lancaster. It's unlikely. It's possible for now, though. Pitch, ground ball over to second. Yetzko has trouble with it. He bobbles it. He picks it up and fires the first in time to get Lenin Rodriguez. Good recovery from Yetzko, who had trouble fielding it initially. Here comes Connor Lean. Now, the Long Island Ducks were 6.5 out of the division today, or out of that second wild card spot, I should specify. They're 11.5 out of the division. They, I believe, were officially eliminated today with a loss as they fall to 7 back with 7 to play. So for all intents and purposes, the Ducks have been eliminated. And that's who the Blue Crabs will play on Tuesday. They should only have 6 games remaining, so 7 games out with 6 games to play wouldn't be enough. 0-1. Line drive, well struck, deep left, down the line. This ball is a foul ball. Fair ball, 2-run home run. Oh, it certainly looked foul from my perspective, but I guess it did just stay to the fair side of that left field foul pole. A 2-run shot from Connor Lean, and the shutout is no longer a 7-2 ball game. It's a 7-2 lead for Southern Maryland after the 2-run shot allowed by Dario Polanco. It's the 9th hit of the day for York. And here comes JC Encarnacion. And this is why, you got the ability to go to your bullpen should things go south. Pitch, line drive, crank to left, but it's foul. Oh, that ball was blasted off the bat of JC Encarnacion. And quickly would have made this a 7-3 ball game. At which point, maybe you do get somebody up and throwing. But I think this is Dario Polanco's inning for now. And the pitch. Low, and it bounces in front of home plate. And the count 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. As Dario Polanco kicks around some dirt at the back of the mound. Give you an idea of the velocity from Polanco. It's been fastballs running 86 to 87. He touched 88 on that last pitch to Encarnacion. Pitch. A defensive check swing in the count 1-2 now on JC Encarnacion. Now last pitch bounced in front of home plate. Or the second pitch did. It had it in the strike zone. I was trying to figure out why, and then I realized, okay. 1-2 pitch, that's low. Oh, I beg your pardon, it's fouled off. And they count 2 balls and 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 away in the bottom of the 9th inning, 7-2 Blue Crabs. And it's Encarnacion at the top of the York lineup.
I know the tan is fake because I'm a redhead. Thank you, though.
And the pitch, check swing, did he go? No, he did not. It's in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes on JC Encarnacion, the leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 4 today. Polanco. The pitch, ground ball over to shortstop. Fielded belt high by Baca. The throw to first in time to get Encarnacion by a half step. He runs very well down the line, but a strong throw from Baca gets him their 2 outs. Here comes Jeffrey Perez. Two outs in the bottom of the 9th. This will end the 3-game set in York, or 1 out away from ending this 3-game set in York. Blue Crabs will drop the series 2 out of 3, but will pick up a game and prevent the sweep.
What do I have to do for it?
And the pitch is low, count 1-0.
I did.
1 ball, no strike, 2 outs.
We have dance groups coming and a bagpiper.
1-0. On the ground, third base side foul.
Vendors or anything like I tried to.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning, if you want to hear some scores from around the majors, we'll go through that here with 2 outs in the 9th inning and a 7-2 Blue Crabs lead. Red Sox over the Orioles 1-0, bottom of the 9th. The Yankees over the Rays 10-1 in the 5th. Here is the 1-1 pitch. That's away. Count 2-1. And the Astros over the Angels 9-3 in the 8th. The Reds trail the Brewers 7-4 in the 9th. Guardians over the Twins 2-1 in the 9th. The Rangers over the Blue Jays 3-1 in the 7th, as that pitch is a little bit inside, and the count 3-1 from Polanco on Perez. The Guardians over the Twins by 1. The Rangers over the Blue Jays by 2. The Diamondbacks on top of the Rockies 4-3. It's the White Sox and the Athletics even at 1. The Braves trail the Mariners by 1-0, and the Padres lead the Dodgers 2-0. 3 games have gone final. The Cardinals over the Pirates 4-3. The Mets over the Marlins 9-3. And the 3-1 is low. It's ball 4. Meanwhile, the Royals over the Tigers 4-0, and the Cubs and Giants play tonight. And around the NFL, a couple of scores that have gone final. The Saints over the Falcons 27-26. And the Bears will top the 49ers 19-10. An overtime game as the Steelers took overtime to beat the Bengals 23-20. And the pitch was a little low. Count 1 ball and no strikes. The Eagles over the Lions 38-35. Dolphins top the Patriots by nearly 2 touchdowns, 20-7. 24-9, the Ravens over the Jets, and the Commanders top the Jaguars 28-22. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss, count 0-2 now. And the Browns with a 2-point win over the Panthers, and a tie today. I thought we were done with, I thought at some point we'd be done with ties in football. or not, the Colts and Texans tied today. 0-2 pitch was low, count 1-2. Yeah, I honestly thought that the NFL might have made a rule change to get rid of those. Clearly they haven't because there was a tie today. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th inning. Polanco the 1-2, low. Count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. And here is the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Melky Mesa down swinging, and that ends the bottom of the 9th inning. That ends the ball game. The Blue Crabs are 7-2 winners tonight over the York Revolution. We'll run you through the box score, the pitchers, and the scoring plays today as the Blue Crabs take 1 out of 3 against York. All right, we'll start with the box score. It was Jack Sundberg who's going to be your player of the game today. 3 for 5, a 3-run home run. Also drove in 2 runs. Michael Wilansky was 0 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts. We talked about how he was robbed of a hit earlier in this ballgame. Braxton Lee 1 for 4, an RBI, a run scored, and a walk. David Harris just barely missed the player of the game honor. He was 3 for 4 though with 2 RBIs, a run scored. Joe DeLuca 0 for 4. While Zach Collier was 2 for 4. Ian Yetzko 1 for 4. Michael Baca 2 for 4. And Jared Walker 0 for 3. Your pitchers in today's ball game. Adrian Cook went 5 innings, 7 hits. He walked 3. He did not allow a run. Connor Law, a scoreless inning. He allowed just 1 walk. He struck out 2. Patrick Baker, an inning of scoreless work. He also struck out 2, did not allow a hit or a walk. Geeky did the same, another 1-2-3 inning, this time only striking out 1, while Dario Polanco allowed 1 inning and allowed 2 runs. He also walked 1. Well, at the end of today's ball game, it's 7-2 Blue Crabs, 7 runs on 12 hits for Southern Maryland. We'll go through the scoring plays. It was Braxton Lee who singled to right to drive in Jack Sundberg in the first, and a 2-run shot from David Harris gave the Blue Crabs a 3-0 lead. In the top of the 4th, Michael Baca with a single to right put Southern Maryland on top 4-0, and a 3-run shot from Sundberg gave the Blue Crabs a 7-0 lead in the 7th. York tacked on 2 with a 2-run shot from Connor Lean in the 9th, but that did it. A 7-2 win for the Blue Crabs tonight. Have a terrific evening, everybody. Have a great Monday. We're back with you on the road on Long Island on Tuesday. We'll see you then as the Blue Crabs make the final push toward the playoffs. Have a great evening. We finish, as always, with the same 4 words. Let's go, Blue Crabs.